So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between an ERP, CRM, and FSM, and really more of like a 360 of what for software is out there for your company. You could be a manufacturing company, a home service providing company, like a roofer, a plumber, and as you scale, as you grow, you start with. If you start with any employees, maybe you start with yourself and a couple employees, but as you grow, you might find hurdles that really are difficult to overcome when you start looking at your processes. You start looking at making things more efficient. You look at profit margins. And what oftentimes can help define those is using software. But the problem is there's software from A to Z. Like I said, these are just the types of software, and there's more out there. But you have customer relationship management, you have an ERP, which is enterprise resource planning, you have an FSM, which is a field service management. So usually these software sometimes have both of those aspects. Like an ERP is typically an all-in-one solution that can give you your finances, accounting, to if you're manufacturing, inventory management, purchasing, selling, to accounting. That's usually in an ERP. It has everything included, and then a CRM or an FSM are usually brackets that if you're not looking to scale, maybe an FSM or just a CRM is a good solution for you. And maybe you'd want to take a software like the CRM and get onboarded to that, and then later move on to an ERP. Well, that's fine, but there's just a lot of thought that it might take, and you might be at the point, I don't know where you're at, but you might be at the point where you're at 15 employees looking to grow to scale, but to achieve that scale, it might get very frustrating because there's no processes in place. Maybe you do have the processes in place, it's just not optimized for you to understand your profit margins or whatever is key and important to you. So that's where these software solutions come into place. They're a great way to manage, your important numbers. And there's several things that are key for software to provide a good solution. Quickly and briefly, you have to have a good user experience. Your employees need to use this software. So that's where it's, all these things take in consideration with the scale of software. An ERP system is usually fairly complex. So the use of that ERP system is going to be very heavily focused and important for your employees to use, for you to actually benefit from it. I'll go over each one. I'll go from bottom to up, I guess you could say. So if you're looking for something to help with your processes, and let's say we'll start with the FSM, and you are a service company, typically field service management type of software is a great solution. It's usually more the base. A lot of FSMs have CRMs built into it, but basically what a field service management software solution is for a company is helps you manage scheduling, accounts receivable. Typically it doesn't hit the accounts payable. It's more just optimizing your service for you and your employees. Usually there's some sort of time tracking with the FSM, and like I said, normally it has a CRM built into it, so you're looking at managing your customers on an online platform, so your sales reps can use it and they can quote out any type of estimate, any type of project. They can send it to the customer inside a FSM. So really what it is, it just optimizes usually that very niche service, which is field service. So you're taking all of these things and you're putting them on an online platform, and you're making it easier for your sales reps to quote a job, and then for the technicians to go out there and complete the job. So it's a good solution. Usually, I don't know, it's hard to say, but it's a good solution for a company that is maybe 10 employees to even 40 or 50, and you can scale them fairly large, but you do hit hurdles if you want to start knowing really key performance numbers, right? Like it doesn't, from my understanding, it doesn't handle profit margins to calculate that very well. I think you do get things like time tracking for your employees and some of those features. But to get the full picture, it doesn't do a very good job at all. It's more just helping you define your processes for your field service technicians. It does help your sales reps to quote better and easier and faster. So that's kind of the side of an FSM. A CRM is also very straightforward. It's more of a just a platform for you to manage your customer database. It's a little deceptive because it's not just a customer relationship management. It's also prospects, right? Like leads. You bring your leads in, whether it be from phone, from an online form. They all come into this hub called a CRM, and you manage those relationships. You manage those conversations, basically just the conversations that the rep has with a lead or a customer, and it just helps to manage that better. You have tasks that you can associate with a contact. 90% of the time you can create quotes in the CRM if it's built correctly or if it's customized correctly. And then you can usually tie it to your marketing fairly effectively. You have your CRM database and you can have marketing automation kick in. So there's benefits to CRM, and the types of CRM are there's hundreds of them. So it can be very difficult to find a good solution for you if you're looking for a CRM that fits your company. I personally, the leading force in the CRM space is Salesforce. They have, I think, 20 to 25% of the market share in the CRM database or in the CRM software. So they are definitely the leading force. They have an amazing product, and I usually do, like, if you're looking to scale, again, this is the type of idea. If you're looking for a company to onboard Salesforce, it can start from 10 employees. Again, a CRM, maybe you want to start, depending on your company, you might be a roofing company that only has subs, so you might want to have a CRM 100% if you only have 2 to 3 employees because they're all sales reps. But it all is circumstantial as far as when you want to be on a CRM and get that implemented. And you could even get it implemented in the very beginning. It all depends on what you want to do and your focus. But typically, it's a good solution, again, when you have 10 employees plus and you're looking to continue to scale, maybe not even scale, but even manage better. I mean, these solutions aren't just there to help you scale. Sometimes they're just there to help you manage your processes that are already there. And if you want to maintain just your employee base and look at getting better profits, these types of softwares can really help you as well. So anyway, back to the customer relationship management tools and software in particular, Salesforce in particular. Salesforce is a platform that just gives you the bones and a base, but then you can build incredible processes inside of Salesforce that really enable your team to be way more efficient. And then really when it gets unlocked and true potential comes into place is when you connect your other applications. The popular ones are like QuickBooks, DocuSign if you're working with contracts. And then there's a whole side of things, and with Salesforce, and from my understanding, this is really the only type of CRM that has this. They have ERP systems built on top of their CRM platform. It's literally a separate company that came in and said, there's about, from what I know, 2 ERP systems, one for manufacturing, one for it's more broader, more financials. It's really strong in financials. And they can really, you can set up yourself on a CRM like Salesforce and get it optimized for where you are. And it's a great solution that if you want to grow and scale, you can easily add on to it. The base cost is pretty low cost. It's not that you're biting a huge bullet as far as cost, but it can get expensive, specifically at Salesforce, if you want to add further features on, like an ERP system, because then you're working with two different softwares. But it's a great solution. And again, the CRM can maintain, and again, a CRM, it's usually it can scale to however big your company can get, right? As far as there's really no limit, especially with Salesforce. There are, I would think there's Fortune 500 companies on Salesforce. The processes and the things you can do inside of Salesforce are just incredible. So it's a great scalable platform that you can grow into, and the user experience is really, really on point. But then if you're looking at an actual ERP solution, again, this is a tough one to nail down as far as when you'd want to implement an ERP, but it's definitely, you definitely have to have a base of, I don't know, it's hard to say, but 2 million plus probably in revenue. They usually, the cost to start on an ERP is usually $20,000 to $30,000 a year, and that's just the subscription. You have, you typically, if you want to do it correctly, you would want to have an implementation specialist to come on board, which the implementation costs it ranges from anywhere, but if you're working with a consulting company, it could go from $20,000 to, 150,000 plus, just depending on the complexity of your company, the scale of your company, even the current size. So an ERP system is definitely a solution that is very costly, and it's also usually very complex, and it could be a hurdle. It needs to have a lot of training. It has to have especially your employees, especially the office reps, familiar with the software to actually make it do what you want it to do, to get your profit margins per job. Or again, in the ERP system, in a nutshell, which I kind of forgot to say, is it takes your whole processes and it should be able to put them online, like accounts payable, accounts receivable, your accounting. I'll go into manufacturing in particular because that's my background, is manufacturing, and obviously with Equipter. And I worked in their ERP, helped implemented some, and did some things there, which is a lot of my experience. But anyway, in manufacturing, you can handle things like your sales order processes, your inventory management. You can handle divisions, so separate divisions of your company, whether it's different location, or even if you have an inventory that's on different lots, right? You have 4 different lots. Maybe it's in 2 different locations as far as addresses. It handles all that, and it can do things as far as manufacturing goes. It can do things like forecasting, inventory forecasting, so giving you suggestions on when you should order, the best prices from the best vendors. So it's a very complex solution, and it can, again, unlock that potential of saying we're just hitting that brick wall of not being able to see insights, and our processes are a mess. Maybe you have all paper processes, or maybe there's a mixture of all these different software applications you're using online, but they're just not all connected. So an ERP system can be a great solution for you at that point. It just provides a very nice and integrated way to manage your processes in your company and your insights. But then the caveat, usually the cons are it's high cost, and there's a lot of effort that you need to invest in your employees as far as training. Typically they're relatively intuitive as far as user experience, as far as the layouts. They usually try to make them usually relatively intuitive, but it's more the processes behind what you're implementing. So all that goes into place, and that's that solution is a great solution for some companies, but it is usually the higher cost, higher time invested, and you can almost say the higher risk. But yeah, that's for me. I guess a little bit of background of what I'm doing in TrueCo. Transition to more of a just a digital solutions provider. So I've talked with several of my clients, and traditionally I was a marketing agency. Now I'm more of a digital solutions company. I do have clients that are still into advertising, and I still do photography, videography, but I also saw this great opportunity just to service my clients better, which in the side of like software. So this software is becoming more of a staple of the company. It's revolving around an ERP implementation, or even just a simple CRM implementation or field service management implementation. And there's also even different software out there for different types of companies. You have rental companies that need a rental management software. So all of those are applicable, and just my experience in Equipter and even what I've grown here at TrueCo, I can confidently say that this is a service that I know is effective, and it can help my clients be more robust in their marketing and their sales and then overall their company, because it can be a great solution if you've hit a brick wall, or if you just hit a hurdle and you don't know how to get over that hump of how do we grow, how do we scale without it getting to the point where you lose your profit margins, I guess, or the processes are really bad and employees are frustrated. So it can really help define all these things and help just further bring clarity in your company and to grow it. But yeah, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. You can reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to discuss where you're at with your company. If you want to go on to an ERP or a CRM or anything you're thinking of, that's why I'm here for my clients, is just to help in that process and to get you from maybe no software or maybe a little bit of software to an optimized system that's really focused on your processes and your insights and making it very effective.